Wassail Snakes. Gaia skirt. It's the 6th new moon and it's the big solar eclipse one. Divine masculine energy coming down. Let the divine consciousness into the earth grid. So, we're doing a tester trap. Oh, there's loads of Palo Santo ash everywhere. So, we're going to do the tester trap, and I will put a post up soon to explain how it all works, but I'll run you through it. So, there's an energy frequency trap with a solution. It's based on the 9 single-digit numbers. For the moment, we're looking for the 3 and the 6 energy trap, and then the divine 9 solution with the mystical Shaman oracle. There's one. What's the snake trap? What's the snake trap? What is the trap for snakes? Oh, that one's gone a long way. I'll just get this other one for the solution, please. The divine 9. You're being very secretive, snakes. What's going on? Oh, that's an interesting. Ooh. So, that's 3 and 3 is 6, 6 and 6 is 12, 1 and 2 is 3, that's the trap. 9's the divine missing part. Now, the next part of the reading is to have the molecules, the journey of how your frequency is affected by the earth grid and how you do the internal and external work. So we start with card number 1. What's card number 1, please, for the snakes? That's a lot of cards. It's too many. I can't put 4. I don't mind if there's 2, but 4's too many. Can we please have for the snakes? Where are the snakes beginning their journey? So there's card number 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so we want card 2, please. Card 2 for the snakes. There's card 2. Now 2 plus 2 is 4, so we want card 4. Oh, that came quickly. 4 and 4 is 8, so we want card 8, please. There's 2, so I can do 8, and then 8 plus 8 is 16. 1 and 6 is 7, so that's card 7. 7 and 7 is 14, 1 and 4 is 5, so we want a card for the 5th place, and then we've got all 9 cards. Oh, that's another pile of far too many. Snakes, it's like your, what's that phrase? There's some sort of phrase about taking a hammer to open something delicate. The phrase is really lost in the ether. You're doing it again. You're sending down too much. Too much. Just 1 card, please, snakes. Just 1 card, please, snakes. Now you've gone all quiet on me. 1 card, please. The 5th card, please. Card 5 for the snakes. You don't want to talk. Come on. Let's have their 5th card, please. Let's have their 5th card. Nothing. Let's have their 5th card, please. Can we please have the 5th card for snakes? Oh, now you've got 2, but I will accept 2. So I'll just turn them over so that I've got a sense of where that's going. Now we need a pathway through the solution. So the divine 9 and how you apply it. So we have 3 cards, please, for the divine 9 and how you apply it. The divine, no, you didn't fall, you just turned. Can we please have 2 more cards for the journey out of the trap? For the journey out of the trap, please. You're really being secretive, snakes. I can feel a big veil. I'm not going to take that because that really dribbled. I want a card that properly sings your song, snakes. Otherwise it feels like you're not telling it your inner truth. What's the last card, please, to snakes? No, it's got to fall, please, Spirit. I'm just going to leave that one in there. There's something going on, snakes. You're wrapping yourself up in things you don't need to. Okay, so we begin with the 3 and the 6 frequency, the trap, the energy that your molecules are caught flashing in and out of interdimensionally. And you begin with the divine 9 number. You begin with 54, Sweat Lodge. So this is a gateway. But this is a gateway. You see, I want to say Urash or Zababa. I really think, I don't recall, but I think it's Urash. It's your connection with the natural world. There's a hint of it being part of the gates of Ishtar, but it's like the slot for this key is tiny, really small, like there's an opening, but you're a snake. You can sneak through it. So if you look below, the shadow is not the same as the shape of the figure. It's much more snake-like and blurred. The spirits flying above this card, there's a weird serpent, Tolteci Aztec kind of hidden message, a statue, and there's one on the other side that's not so easy to see. I'm getting a Lenormand card of whip, snakes. I know your physical form is like a whip in a way, but this is the Lenormand card of whip, which is to just keep punishing yourself. So you're trying to purify yourself, but you're not sure how to do this for some reason. And then the other half, this is the internal molecules part of the journey. The next part of the journey is the external energy, which is hummingbird, and that's why there is this sense of it being a little bit like the gates of Ishtar. But I'm hearing it's kind of, that's why it's so narrow. It's the lower heart chakra gateway is Urash, the natural world. The higher heart chakra is where we love other people. That's the gates of Ishtar. And this is a frozen energy, but when the two hearts combine, we connect with this aquamarine energy ray frequency that's deeply, deeply healing. So you're trapped. You know the pathway, but you can't seem to create the right key to slip through, and yet Spirit's saying you know the shape, you can get through any doorway, but you can't if the hummingbird doesn't come alive. So we need to find out why that is. So you begin your journey inwardly in a state of fire, inspiration, passion, joy, creativity. With this is such a fierce, huge, massive energy. I just need to look at something. You're not looking at this properly for some reason. You're not looking there, you're not looking there, you're not looking there. There's only one card in the trap frequency energy that you've got your eyes open to. It's like you're moving through the darkness. And you don't need to. This is like your higher self energy. This is like, you don't need to know the pathway, you just need to move forwards. You know, in this, you would think she wouldn't fit the door, but she's shape-shifting. Oh, now we're getting somewhere. Snake shifting, shape-shifting. So you've got this, all this passion, fire as you begin, and you're not looking, and you're sitting in limbo. It's so bizarre. It's there's runic symbols that she's reaching down to, solutions, codes, but it's non-engagement with the natural world. You're not engaging with the planet properly, and that's so bizarre because you are Gaia's skirt. You're the energy of life all over the planet, wriggling as Gaia's skirt. The frequency, you more than anyone, you ought to be in the natural world. It might be that, you know, this period of time has kept you away from nature and that's causing you some kind of stress, but I'm not getting stressed. There's a calmness, there's a blindfolding of you. There's it's like you haven't found your epiphany. I want to say rather weirdly, you're not seeing the truth. This is 12, the Hanged Man, and yet up here there's a weird scratched 11. So it's that one step forward, 2 steps back energy, and you're creating that energy. You're having the epiphany. You can see and you can reach the codes, really, but your eyes are shut. So you're hanging around waiting on the next step. Oh, so you are looking for like a plan, a list. It's like you need to write a list, tick a list, cross things off your list and work out where you're going. This, where you start, is a flowing energy. This is the divine spark that begins everything. You begin in the divine spark, and yet you immediately just hang around. I want to say, because she's pulling on her feet, and the feet are where we step on the earth. It's like trying to keep yourself off the earth. I'm still not understanding why you're doing that, but hopefully it will come out. Now, you then have the 9 of Cups. This is usually the wish card, but it's not what I'm getting from it. This is you. There's a treasure chest. The treasure chest is the natural world. There's so many resources and gifts that the natural world has for you, but you're holding yourself elevated in this. Well, I mean, you know, this is internal work. To a certain extent, you do need to be internal before applying yourself to the real world. But this is, you're not thinking truthfully. Your thoughts are muddled. She has blue hair, and that's communication. But again, we can't see the face. It's almost being wiped from existence so that you leave no trace. It's like hiding. And yet, you're waiting for everything to be laid out in a plan. And there's all these singing bowls waiting to be filled with emotions. That's interesting. You've got a card later with an empty bowl. Empty bowl. There's something wrong with you emotionally. Something wrong with you, snakes, emotionally. You can't seem to move forwards until you've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. It's that notion. So you do this internal work. You're you're entering through Urash, Ishtar Gateway. You're in the courtyard. It's almost like inside the courtyard is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and it's almost. They're saying a little bit like it's a bit like you've got hay fever. It's all making you feel a bit allergic. It's not like you're enjoying the notion of where we're going. That's so weird. That was your first reading. That was the energy in your first reading, snakes, wasn't it? For the year. That was this frequency where you just didn't want to do this. Might have to check that myself. I'm sure it was your first reading was a frequency where you didn't want to get involved, and yet last month you were really on top of things. You were ahead of the game. So it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. The ahead of the game. You're on 12, everyone else is on 11, and yet you're still not comfortable with it. That's really bizarre. So, taking this energy of being in this courtyard, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and you're trying to, it's almost, it's like you've gone in and there's all these beautiful plants, and Snake's gone in and gone, not so sure I like them there, I'm going to move them, put these ones here. You're not doing what you need to do. You're doing, you're applying a notion of control over the real world because you feel that you haven't got any. You're fearful of the real world at the moment because it's not making sense. That's what it's to do with. So although you can fit through the gateways and you have done the work and you're ahead of the game, you've got a sense of discomfort about where things are heading, and you'd like to read the last chapter before you decide you want to go through the rest of the book. So, applying your energy outside, we have the 2 of Pentacles. So, this card came up in someone else's reading and it's telling me exactly the same thing. You don't know the world you want forwards. That's the trouble. You're so far ahead that you can't see the wood for trees. You can't work out how to refill the world. The world at the moment to you is looking empty. The future's looking empty. So there's a change taking place, and this is making you very, very uncomfortable. There's the energy of rooting into the real world. This red 3-dimensional frequency is much more physical, but this is the one that you're on. This is your Hanged Man internal. You're not, it's almost like you need to turn them the other way. You need to bring your spirit down inside the earth. It's extremities. It's your root chakra and crown chakra is aligned through the spine, and you are the spine, you're the snakes, you are that element, you're the 2 Kundalini energies. Again, this has come up before for your readings. You need to work on the balance between the 2 energy flows of Earth Kundalini, all your molecules, Cosmic Kundalini, your divine consciousness. So again, your next step from the 2 of Pentacles is the 10 of Swords, an ending of endings. Lovely joining between these 2 cards, actually. Another barren landscape. It's like you've got so far ahead that you've cleaned all of the possible thoughts and things away, and you're now unsure how to redraw a future landscape. Rather than just flowing, this is so lovely actually. This is a representation of Gaia's skirt, when you're in balance in your sacral and your root chakra, flowers and things, blossoms start to grow from within Gaia's skirt. So within the surface of the earth, everything's taking place, and yet it's growing on you and not the real world. And you want to turn your back on things. You want to move away, but again, you're not looking at anything. You can't see the world around you somehow. And that's why this hummingbird is forever frozen, because you're not applying what you do know. You're ahead of the game, but you're not applying what you know to solutions. Not for everyone, just your own solution. Dream your own version. You don't have to share it with people, but just think about what you would like your life to be past this eclipse. What would you like to do? Maybe you don't want to do anything you've done before, but you have to start to create the frequencies for the things you'd like to have energetically come towards you, because it's a blank canvas. You see this blank canvas. And then we have another card, the Two of Swords, and it's blindfolded, as we can see. There's crows. Spirit is desperately trying to untangle you, and yet somehow your relationship with Spirit is tangling you as well. It's like you're tying yourself in knots, and Spirit keeps trying to untangle you, and then you keep getting tangled back up in yourself. And what tends to happen is that you suddenly realize everything that's going on around you, and you have your epiphany moment. Your eyes finally, at last, snakes, on the very last step, you open up and you look around. But even here, when you open up, you're seated in front of the Akashic Records, in front of the sea. There's no form to this epiphany. It's pie in the sky. Here's your other empty bowl. Pigs might fly. You connect, and it gives you this inspirational moment to move forward. You feel untangled, you feel connected, but you don't know how to reach up and join yourself with your energies. So often this is the higher self, but it isn't. It's a reminder of this. It's this sense that your crown and root are out of balance. They're not being brought into the right place. But because you're snake, because you're bright, because your eyes are open, you know that you can solve this. So you then head into inspiration, and you're back at point one, and suddenly you're hanging again, not knowing quite how to do this. But the strength, this card is shining the loudest. This is this energy of the natural world that you won't join properly, that you are the framework for, is the most dominant card energetically. I'm just looking down at this one. Something else they want to say. It is about you joining two hearts. The Seas Akashic Records are asking you to create like a clockwork or fan belts to make all the cogs flow together. And that's the part that you're not seeing. So why are you not seeing this? We have two cards as the solution. And here comes the siren, so we must be coming to something quite important. We have water and the heart of the sky. 61, which is a 7, and 24, which is a 6, which is a 13. 13 is such a divine feminine number at the moment. Now, Water is the Akashic records. Water is emotions. Hidden inside this sphere is a new heart, this new third heart that is forming. And the heart of the sky has a slightly veiled moon, as if you're still not seeing. It's again about the eyes. Look, that's the only time your eyes are open. And the heart of the sky, the energy of all source coming from the galactic center of the cosmos, is open and looking down at you, is blessing you, but I think you can't see. It's almost like if you go underwater and open your eyes, you don't see in the same way that you see when you're in air. It's that. It's so heavy that you're not able to see it. And the heart of the sky is trying to help you to see, not underwater, but to see through the emotions that are blocking you. And it's delivering it with, I mean, it is just an energy of stardust and bliss, and there's aquamarine crown energy. I'm also getting owl spirit. I'm getting a peacock. That's eyes again. So you've got to open your eyes to this frequency change. So the pathway out of this starts with the awakening, to awaken your eyes. I absolutely adore this card. Awakening is 20. 20 is the judgment card in most tarot decks, but it's a gateway. It's the gateway that's opening with the eclipse. And this gateway is shining this energy onto the mouth. And there's blue, communication, emotions, all of this blueness, all of this. I'm hearing Neptune. Your problem is very iced, old, ancient energy. Neptune is passing, it's passing directly to the Earth, but through Venus, if I'm right. I'll have to check that, but it means trying to cleanse your livers, kidneys and spleens. So you're not sleeping and purifying. That's what it is. This is what's causing this problem. You're not, I'm not saying change your diet. You can always do that if you want to. But you're not cleansing your auric field properly because you're not communicating it. You're this hiding away energy, this hanging and not being involved, this needing all the rules to be put in place before you can do it, and then you'll have your say. You've got to have your say. You've got to awaken your truth. You've got to find your truth. And this is emanating from this place of the third heart, and it clears the mists over all the blockages and mountains. And it's come down from the cosmos. I'm getting comets as well. There's some kind of connection to the tail of a comet. I guess it's that flexibility that you have that can fit you through anything. But it's almost like your spiritual connection needs to not be so wiggly. It needs to have much more focus forwards. You're almost trying to weave in all of the pieces of the jigsaw when actually all the jigsaw pieces on the table are from more than one jigsaw. You don't need them all. You just need the ones that make the picture of your future. So you have your awakening, and then This comes with the Queen of Voices. This is the Queen of Swords. And because swords are thoughts, and in this deck, they're voices, it's about speaking your truth. This is what this card is saying. Cut away all the things that don't belong to you. Voice them. Say, this is not mine. I release it. Just let me stare into this card for 1 second. It's like when you get into this Queen of Voices energy, when these emotions are melted, these Neptunian, dark, old, icy elements are removed, it's like, oh, that's so weird. Whatever you need to do, Spirit's kind of looking away. And that's interesting as well, because even within the Heart of the Sky energy, I kept thinking that they're not looking at each other. Spirit's supporting you, but Spirit's kind of saying whatever it takes to get you through this emotional moment, to reconnect you with the natural world, you have to do. You're not being judged on what's taking place. And then it ends this journey with the Ace of Materials. So you began with the Ace of Wands, and Wands are the first suit. And you're ending with Pentacles. You're ending with the true blossoming application of you in the real world, snakes. And she's holding a stick, like a magic wand, all bound and everything, but the energy that I'm getting from this stick is that sense of stop meandering and go forwards with focus. So, what's the outcome, please? What's the outcome for snakes? What's the outcome for snakes? I don't want that one. What's the outcome for snakes, please? What's the outcome for snakes, please? What's the outcome for snakes? What's the outcome for snakes? Oh, you see, that's too many cards, but the one of them has fallen into... So, soul fragments, 33, that's the master number of the world we live in currently. Balance will be restored. This is Kali Ma energy. Kali Ma is raw feminine. The raw feminine energy descended to burn the ego of the raw masculine and the emotional masculine before it becomes divine masculine. This is Kali Ma, raw feminine energy, reaching inside your heart to bring your gate of Ishtar, higher heart, gate of Urash, lower heart, together to create this new frequency of you speaking, straight speaking, absolutely no more kind of... they're saying to me no more kind of charming lies, but that's not what they're making that reference because of the kind of snake charmer thing. It means that you just need to stand in the truth. You need to become a Hayoka empath, which is the Native American empath, sacred clown, who says things to people, and then instead of you doing what you would normally do, which is to go, I shouldn't have said that, and slithering away and worrying about it. No, Spirit came to poke you. That's why they're not looking. That's why they're not looking. There's so many things that you need to do that you ordinarily would fear. Spirit's saying, we're not going to look because we want you to understand that what you're doing is what you're meant to do. We're not watching over you. We're trusting you. Spirit trusts you. So that's actually a lovely message. It's about seeing under the water as clearly in a field of emotions because you've got your hearts now resonating properly, and applying them to the natural world that we live in so that you can help others to achieve their awakening. It's almost like that's why you're a step ahead. You're supposed to be ahead of people because you're supposed to be guiding them, snakes. You are Kundalini magic. So, that's your reading and I hope it helps you. Wassail.